Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day number 5 of the custom mail-in tournament with the deadly clown car. For our first group, we shall see Uncle Elvis, Rob, Craigster Sr., and Sneaky Bob. Now when it comes to Uncle Elvis, that is probably one of the bulkier vehicles I've seen. Let's see if that can translate into speed. Right now it is Sneaky Bob out in front, who has a reputation for living up to their name and sneaking their way through in one way or another. For now they have that lead, and they are the one to trigger that clown car. Let's see who the clown car takes as a victim. They do have a lead currently, although it looks like some of their competition is slowly gaining on them. Will it be enough to pass them as they approach the finish line? It looks like it will not be, and Sneaky Bob finishes in first. Whereas the clown car will take not one, but 2 different victims. This one did finish, but they finished behind the clown car. For those of you tuning in for the first time, when the clown car is triggered, if it finishes in front of your vehicle, you will not gain any points even if you do cross the finish line. Uncle Elvis got stuck way up there, so they didn't even have a prayer of getting something to happen. And that could just be due to the size of their vehicle. Let's see if that stays consistent in the remaining 3 races. Meanwhile, I believe that is Craigster Sr. who finished in second? I could be wrong. I'll have to look at the names again, because sometimes they pass by so fast that it takes me a little bit longer to register which one is which. It is Craigster Sr. who got second, so they will get 3 points. Whereas Rob and Uncle Elvis were not able to finish or finish in front of the clown car. As this second race begins, there goes Sneaky Bob and Craigster Sr. again. Let's see if Uncle Elvis can do something about those turns. So far, no, because they slowed almost to a stop around that first turn alone. Whereas Sneaky Bob is going back and forth on those walls, and Craigster Sr. is the only other one in front of the clown car right now. And they're actually catching up to Sneaky Bob a little bit. Can they pass him? Going around the final bend into the final straightaway. Here comes Craigster Sr. Can they pass Sneaky Bob? No! Right now, Sneaky Bob still has 2 wins under their belt. And we once again have 2 non-finishes. Rob actually stayed backwards on the final straightaway, did not have the speed needed in order to get all the way down. Whereas Uncle Elvis is actually stuck on the straight part of the track. In fact, you can see them up there approaching that bend. And I guess they were just moving so slowly that they actually went backwards. And then they just stayed there. I think this has to do mostly with the size of their vehicle. Because when they were on that first straightaway, they did start out pretty solid. But then once they hit those turns, they slowed down significantly. Meanwhile, Sneaky Bob, while finishing in first, has been pulling off some slower times. And our new fastest time is actually held by Isa Khan, who finished around 16.87. But as I always say, as long as you move on, you will have more opportunities to improve in the future. And look at this, Uncle Elvis actually keeps up with Sneaky Bob and Craigster at first. But once they hit that turn, they just lose so much speed and fall very quickly behind. Meanwhile, Sneaky Bob and Craigster were sharing the same 2 lanes. And this is looking very familiar right now. But here comes Craigster Sr. They're actually closing the gap on Sneaky Bob right now, trying to stop him from staying undefeated. Sneaky Bob did go up against the wall for a second. Craigster Sr. finds his way around him, going around that bend. And it looks like they will claim first place. Sometimes all you need is just one window of opportunity, and to take it properly to get the upper hand that you need. Meanwhile, Rob still can't cross the finish line. And what happened to Uncle Elvis? He actually made it past the first couple of turns and is now in that big straightaway. But you can see how those turns are affecting him. Affecting him because he falls so quickly behind. But considering how well he did, that's really saying something. He did actually finish, even though they weren't going to get any points because the clown car finished in front of them. But Uncle Elvis, depending on the track, this type of vehicle could actually perform really well. But those turns have proven to be deadly for them. And now because Craigster Sr. finished in front of Sneaky Bob, that means neither one of them will be undefeated, or even have a chance to be, even going into the final round. And I'm sure Sneaky Bob is not too thrilled about that. Usually he's the one that sneaks in front of somebody. And somebody flipped that around on him, that being Craigster Sr. Although you gotta wonder, where is Craigster Sr. right now? He doesn't seem to be anywhere on camera, and it looked like the clown car was the one in second. Oh, there goes Craigster Sr. He is in front of the clown vehicle. He needs to finish in front of him, though, in order for his points to count, and that is not gonna happen. The clown car found his way around him, and Uncle Elvis tried to push Rob forward so he could finish at least once, but neither one of them was able to. You may have to check on the clown a little bit. It almost looks like his eyes are falling out, which I guess would make him even spookier, but still. And this is quite the interesting development. Rob was actually right behind the clown car, but something about that final straightaway prevented him from having the speed he needed. Because he actually wasn't too far behind the others, and then he just gets stuck there. So after 4 races, Sneaky Bob has the lead in points, and he will move on alongside Craigster. And now for our second group, which has Rocket, Lone Wolf 3, Space Cadet, and Killer Kowalski. Killer Kowalski is looking to redeem themselves a little bit after their conundrum in one of our previous tournaments. And so far it looks like they're going to do that, as they already have a big lead over everybody else. They're approaching the clown trigger now. They got it, and now let's see where the clown car is. They actually are in second right now, but look at Killer Kowalski. He slides sideways to a complete stop and is now being nudged forward by the rest of the pack. So Killer Kowalski still has a lead at least, but that could spell danger going forward. He will be the only person to get points. That is one of the slower first place finishes we've seen so far. No one else will be getting points after all that, even those that did finish. I guess after triggering that clown car, they were not able to recover very well. As you can see, he is going sideways at this point, and it's actually the clown car who helped him. It's entirely possible that the driver of that clown car, whoever that is, or whatever that is as the case may be, wanted to at least still win in an honorable fashion. Killer Kowalski is fast, but even if you're fast, you still want to make sure you are stable, because things like this can happen, which can be very, very dangerous. So Space Cadet, Lone Wolf 3, and Rocket will not get any points. Let's see if they can do any better in this race. A bit of a jolt forward there, but Killer Kowalski is pulling away for now. Meanwhile, Rocket is currently in second, but Lone Wolf 3 seem to be neck and neck with them. But now, as Killer Kowalski triggers the clown car, he spins around. So while he still has the lead, he is having trouble facing the direction he's supposed to. For now, they are driving backwards, heading towards the finish line. Here comes Rocket. They are slowing down a bit. But it looks like they should still have enough to cross the finish line, and they will. So Rocket at least gets some points this time around. Whereas the other two, not really. Now we just got to track them down. And I believe that is Lone Wolf 3 stuck on that bend there. And it looks like they put up some plastic guards so that no one's flying off the track up there, which has happened in previous tournaments. And where's our other non-finisher? There they are. They got a little bit further down, but they got stuck. Yeah, I think just the way that Killer Kowalski hit that edge of the track caused them to spin around. They were thankfully able to correct themselves and straighten out a bit. But it's definitely concerning that they have not had a non-problematic finish. They have to keep going up against that wall, which can make you lose a lot of speed, which will be troublesome going forward. So now, if anyone's going to move on with Killer Kowalski, currently that is going to be Rocket. And that is actually Space Cadet in the blue, not Lone Wolf 3. Lone Wolf 3 is the one with the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine-esque colors. Well, for now, Killer Kowalski is still in the lead, though it's not as big of a lead as before. But he goes to trigger that clown car. Can they stay straight? So far, yes. But they are fishtailing quite a bit. Right now, not so much. Let's see if they can stay that way. Heading towards the finish line, they spin around yet again. But they are not skidding sideways, which is an improvement over the first race. So Killer Kowalski is going to move on. They are the only person to finish in front of that clown vehicle. While Rocket and Space Cadet, they get stuck facing each other. And they're slowly moving back a little bit, and they've now come to a stop. Meanwhile, where's our other friend, Lone Wolf 3? They're actually way further up the track than before. I think that's the turn where they're getting stuck. It looks like they actually slowed down a lot by the time they got to the turn. It wasn't even the turn that killed them, it seems. Yeah, Killer Kowalski's got to stay straight, especially if they're going to go up against some of our faster competitors that have already moved on. But they will be given more opportunities because they are guaranteed to move on at this point. As they approach the finals. But let's see if they can get through the finals without any issue. You can see them slowly moving back there. Yeah, right now, since Rocket is the only other person to finish, they are currently in position to move on even with only 3 points. Let's see if that stays true. They are actually in close contention with Killer Kowalski right now. But going around that bend, Killer Kowalski takes off a bit. But Rocket is currently actually staying in front of the clown car. Staying in front of it can be a bit of a challenge if you're not doing well. So we'll see how Rocket does as they approach the finish line. Right now, Killer Kowalski gets that win. Who's in second? It is Rocket. So they will get another set of points. Space Cadet almost was able to finish in front of the clown car, but the clown car blocked them. Not the way you want to go out, to be sure. But Killer Kowalski was able to pull off a time similar to that of our previous speed record holder, Arlo. So that does give them a bit of a sigh of relief, if you will. Let's see where the other racers are. Lone Wolf 3 seems to be getting further and further back with each finish. That is definitely unfortunate. And the clown car was almost able to tackle Rocket as they went down the ramp. But Rocket was far enough forward to the point where it did not affect them. So will be Rocket joining Killer Kowalski in today's final round. Let's see how they do against the other people that are also there. But look at that. That is almost a slap in the face by the clown car for Space Cadet. But Killer Kowalski does remain undefeated, at least for now. Let's see how they do approaching the final round. So far, I believe out of these four, it is only Killer Kowalski who stays undefeated. Sneaky Bob was close, but was beaten at least once by Craigster Sr. So this is definitely going to be an interesting group as they all pulled off very similar times. Right now, the one in the lead is Killer Kowalski, followed closely by Bob. Where are the other two? Craigster Sr. is in front of the clown car, but that makes you wonder where Rocket is. Because they were putting up some decent times in at least a couple of these races. And there goes Killer Kowalski again, spinning out, but staying in first. That is extremely risky. They are going to need to be careful going forward. Here comes Rocket. And even if they do cross the finish line at this point, they will get 0 points. Can they get there? Nope, they fall just short. Let's see what that clown car was. Oh, wow, they actually landed on top of Craigster and or Rocket. And while they did flip over, they landed back on their wheels and kept going. But I think that little fiasco caused Rocket to lose a lot of speed and stay way back in the pack. They were still at the second to last turn by the time Killer Kowalski finished. And the clown car was trying to find their way around Craigster, but Craigster was having none of that. The Rocket is definitely one of the more unique vehicles, but unfortunately we do not give points for uniqueness. So Killer Kowalski is just 3 wins away from moving on with the undefeated title on their name, at least for the time being. And they do grab an early lead, which is something you often want to do because it can really save you going forward. But here comes Sneaky Bob trying to close that gap, and it looks like they have, but they bumped into each other. So Killer Kowalski is going to hold on to the lead for the moment, and Sneaky Bob's going to have to pick that momentum back up to try and catch them. Sneaky Bob goes into the straightaway, around the turn, heading towards the finish line. They have that lead. They're staying straight, so they'll get that next win, while Sneaky Bob finishes in second, and Rocket actually finished in third that time. And it is Craigster Sr. who wasn't able to beat the clown car. That is something I didn't expect after that first one. But we've definitely seen some surprises in this and previous tournaments, so this should not come as too much of a shock. Now these are some slower times, but when Killer Kowalski can stay straight and not spin around or skid sideways, they can pull off some really good times. And it looks like Craigster Sr. was actually fighting back and forth with the clown car, but they weren't able to get the edge over them. So right now things are looking a little bit better for Sneaky Bob. And Killer Kowalski is just one win away from stamping their spot in the next phase of this tournament. They do have the lead currently. As they go around the bend though, Sneaky Bob is trying to keep it close. The lanes come back together. Here comes Killer Kowalski triggering that clown car. They skid sideways for a moment before facing backwards again. And Craigster Sr. is actually passing Sneaky Bob right now, and he's going on the inside. So now Craigster Sr., not happy with how that last race went, is now in second. And that just made things more interesting. Can they stay in second though? They will not, as Sneaky Bob passes him to stay in second place in points. We're not quite sure what time they pulled off, as that timer seems to have been busted on that one. but everyone actually managed to stay in front of the clown car, at least when it first got down that ramp. But that clown car was staring Rocket down as they got right up on their tail. So while we don't know what their time was, I'm willing to bet that was not the fastest time we've seen. But everyone was actually able to finish in front of that clown car this time. So everybody will be getting points. Some of it is pretty much obsolete now. Sneaky Bob and Killer Kowalski are guaranteed to move on at this point in time. The one exception would be if Craigster Sr. finished in first, and then Sneaky Bob didn't finish at all, and then Craigster could have a tiebreaker with him, but they would have to go tooth and nail to make that happen, which is so far seeming unlikely. Meanwhile, Killer Kowalski spins around as they get through the clown trigger, and now they have to play catch up with Sneaky Bob, who's trying to deny him an undefeated racer title. Sneaky Bob is closing that gap. Can he get around Sneaky Bob? Trying to find an opening? No, he can't. Sneaky Bob, on the final race, has stopped Killer Kowalski from remaining undefeated. So now, looking to have a fourth one join those ranks, we will stick with 3 for now, which are Rebel Racer, Uncle Fokker, and Isa Khan. And I believe Isa Khan will still hold on to the fastest time we've seen so far. What a final race for sure! Meanwhile, Rocket was pushing back and forth with the clown car, but they got denied any points on the last race. So it is Sneaky Bob and Killer Kowalski that will progress, adding 2 more to our current lineup, approaching the grand finals. Thank you all so much for watching. See you next time.